$2,000 into this Toyota Tacoma, and there's nothing wrong with it. Let's find out why. Let's get started. This is a 2018 Toyota Tacoma. We just did a video on a white Tacoma not too long ago, but this one is kind of a silverish gray color. It came in for some vibration, roaring noises, and we did find something that has an issue, but it's not necessarily broken or disastrous or catastrophic. But with everything else we're doing to this vehicle, we're going to arrive right around $2,000. And none of it absolutely had to be done. Why? Why would it cost that much, especially when nothing's broken? Because they're doing exactly as I've been trying to tell you guys. You have to maintain your vehicles. I don't care if it's a VW or Toyota or Ford or Chevy. It doesn't matter. There are times during the year when scheduled maintenance comes due according to the schedules of whatever your owner's manual says. It says to do this at this time, this at that time. You should be doing them. And yes, it's going to cost you money, even though it runs perfectly fine. We're going to show you what all we're doing to this Toyota today, why we're doing it, and how you can really get 400,000 miles out of most vehicles today if you take care of them. Let's take a look around this Tacoma. So it looks a little toothless at the moment. The front wheels have been removed, kind of nothing underneath there. It looks like it's hovering in the air. Here's the front of this Tacoma. It looks very nice. One of the better looking mid-sized trucks on the road today. It has kind of a pearlescent silver color paint to it. It looks really nice. It is the TRD 4x4 off-road model. It does have what's called the Solid Fold 2.0 bed cover on it. And it is the V6 3.5 V6. And as you can see on this side, it has the crew cab with 4 full-size doors. Very nice condition vehicle. Let's go ahead and take a look under the hood. Since this truck has a problem with vibration, kind of a noise up front, I know it's going to be kind of expensive to repair. The parts alone for this job have seriously gone up in the last few years. It's hard enough to keep the bills paid, food on the table, and then a surprise bill like this happens. It can totally decimate a person's bank account. For those of you out there that have been in this situation, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The constant emails, letters, and texts from companies reminding you what you owe them. Like you somehow forgot. It really sucks the life out of a person. Luckily, there's PDS Debt, the sponsor of today's video. They understand debt and have helped hundreds and thousands of people take back control of their wallet. They help you move forward with confidence and dignity. Whether you have credit cards, personal loans, medical bills, or are in collections, PDS Debt will help you provide alternative solutions designed for you and your situation. Plus, they have excellent ratings with the Better Business Bureau, Google, and Trustpilot, all because they have helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt. No one ever plans to get in over their head in debt, but when it happens, it is a total nightmare. The constant worrying about money and how to stay afloat makes my head hurt just thinking about it. I know if I got in this situation, I would need PDS Debt to help me. You're 30 seconds away from being debt-free. Get your free assessment and find the best option for you right now at pdsdebt.com/carwizard. That's pdsdebt.com/carwizard. Don't forget, that's pdsdebt.com/carwizard. Now back to this Tacoma. So this is our 3.5 liter V6. It does say on the engine cover D4S is their direct injection system V6. This one doesn't have any issues with it. We are doing a coolant flush, however, with OEM Toyota antifreeze. But there's no leaks or anything seriously going wrong with this engine. It does have timing chains. Luckily, there's no timing belts to mess with. But these engines are amazing. You really have to hand it to Toyota because there's always jokes about there, like with Ferrari 308s or some of the older sports cars, Z28 Camaros. And people say, yeah, I love my car, but you know, with modern technology today, a Toyota Camry can outrun this car. There's some truth to that. Toyota has basic family car Camrys, and Tavares has mentioned this on his channel. He had one for a while, a V6 3.5 Camry, and he's like, I'm surprised this thing is actually fast. Like, it'll move. It'll outrun most of yesterday's cars that we think in our head were so fast, and a Camry will outrun them today. These cars are really great. 300 horsepower, 350, some of them have more, and some of them are supercharged. Lots of power and decent fuel economy and bulletproof reliability. Toyota really is ahead of the game with their V6s. So the only thing, again, we're doing in the engine bay is a coolant flush and just an inspection and checking it over. But let's take a look inside that interior. What does it look like in a 2018 Tacoma if you're looking to purchase one?
Look at that, 105,871 miles. This thing is barely broken in, but gauge cluster's looking really nice back there. Everything is easy to read, nothing crazy going on, because again, this is a Toyota. They keep life simple in here. Our dash is in really nice condition. It's just a hard plastic, but again, it makes it hard to, break that up, and, it doesn't peel, it doesn't rip very much. But as we go down, you'll see we've got kind of a fabric material right here, and then we have our glove box beneath. We do have round HVAC vents, and they have replaced the stereo system to a nice JBL, kind of a touch screen, double DIN system there, right, looking good. So we move down, lots of dial controls. We've got creature comfort buttons as well for our heated seats. Move down even more, we've got even more controls for all the different options in this vehicle. As we look back there, you'll see we have a charge spot for our cell phone, 2 cup holders there, and a cup holder here, and a whatnot spot before that, which, maybe a cup could fit in there. We have a leather wrapped gear selector, our e-brake, nice little armrest there, which opens up, and they've got a microfiber cloth just nicely stowed down in there, but looking really nice. The seats have an interesting kind of a square pattern on that center section where we would see perforated leather in a lot of cars, but in this case it is solid with some squares, so it's a little bit different. No bolster on the side because, well, this is a truck. We don't do too much drifting with trucks. Door cards are gray, and more gray in here, so of course it's gray. But looking nice, nothing is broken, no holes or anything like that. As you look at our back seat, and yes, I say back seat because this is actually a very large back seat for a truck. It is a full bench seat with a 40-60 split and plenty of legroom for the people that are riding back there. So not only can we lower our seats to add more interior cargo space, but we also have legroom for the people that do ride back there. Headliner's in good shape, dark gray. We have it pulled back. Let's go ahead and open it up. There we go. Nice, so there's a ceiling to our shop. Back in the day, we were used to Toyotas with no buttons, but just a symbol in the center. And today's cars, they're adding more and more and more buttons to it, like every other car, because that's what people are wanting. They're wanting some of those comforts of not having to go over there to push a button. They want it right there in front of them. And Toyota is starting to step up to the plate and get them put on their steering wheels as well. So enough of this interior talk. Let's get this up in the air and see what else is wrong and why this car's making a weird sound.
So here we are under this 2018 Tacoma. We did just do a coolant flush with fresh Toyota antifreeze. One thing I really like that they did here, they have an oil cooler and an adapter that sticks the oil filter out front. Really easy to get to, and then you can see these hoses that go to the oil cooler. Nothing's leaking there. Here's our radiator. Everything's nice and dry there as well. You can see that there's lots of room to work on everything. You can reach your hand up in various different places. Not hard to work on at all. Again, Toyotas I really liked over the years, even in the newer models. You get metal shields on the bottom, not cheap plastic. We do have our front differential here that is not leaking. It has a little electric actuator on it. This is the TRD 4x4 package. But as we come out here to the wheels and brakes, I do know the brakes are good. There's no serious issue with the fronts. But you can see the hub is missing. The customer mentioned a little bit of a vibration or a noise at 60, 70 miles an hour, and it's very slight, but you could sense it and tell. And we found out by putting it on the lift and putting in four-wheel drive and running it that this hub on the driver front was starting to go bad. It wasn't catastrophic. It's something you could probably drive for another 6 months on. It wouldn't fall apart or anything. But the customer said, I want it fixed now. I don't want to listen to that noise. So really, that was the only thing on this vehicle that was a repair. And even that, it wasn't necessary at this moment. It wasn't catastrophic. Let's go ahead and finish our inspection. The brakes on this side were good as well, and this hub was not making noise, but the customer said, let's go ahead and do both so it's done and out of the way, and I don't have to worry about it. The shocks and struts are not blown up here. The sway bar links are all good. The CV boots are good. Everything is nice in the front end. We are going to be doing a transmission service on this as well, just fluid only. Like Mrs. Wizard showed you guys, it's at about 105,000 miles. The customer asked, is it time to do that or am I too late? And the answer is, it's perfect. It's exactly when you're supposed to do transmission service. I always advocate for 100,000 miles. But you can see there's no leaks going on. We have no issues with this front drive shaft. Our cats are all intact. As we go back to the transfer case, so here we are, 100,000 miles roughly, nothing leaking. We did pull some fluid out of this just to check it. It's just crystal clean, it's very nice. Nothing needed to be done there. U-joints are good. Here's our carrier bearings in good shape, good U-joints there. We do show 2 exhausts, but it goes into one right here to this Y connection, so it's single. And then it goes to the back with this big, huge muffler, and then just a pipe out the back. Here's our differential, which has the third member style connection here. Here's our nice, beefy third member. No leaks going on there. U-joint is good. In the back, though, you'll see something different. Yes, you're seeing that right. This is a 2018 Toyota, and it still has the old school 1940s drums. Actually, 1920s or 30s. But they're economical and they work good. I really like rear drums. There's some drum brakes that can go a long time on the rear vehicles and not need any shoes. We did put new shoes, new hardware, everything on the back of this vehicle with OEM Toyota parts. We'll talk about that here in a minute, why. Here's our Bilstein shocks. Nothing's leaking out of those. Leaf springs look good. Shocks look good over here. Nothing wrong with the leaf springs, nothing leaking. Spare tire is full of air, and we have this nice receiver hitch there for towing. I wouldn't have any trouble towing with this vehicle. I wouldn't tow 12,000 pounds with it, but I would tow 3 or 4 or 5 with no trouble at all. So again, nothing serious going on. We did check the fluid on both front and rear differentials. It's crystal clear, clean in there, so there's no reason to mess with that at this time. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the ground and talk about those rear brakes. Another place I used to work, I had a mentor, kind of the boss. He taught me probably half of everything I know, a lot of the tricks of the trade. He was a 40-year master Chrysler technician. The guy knew what he was doing. A lot of the car wizard tricks I know today, a lot of the car wizard things that I've gained over the years, a lot of them came from him. His name was Kenneth. And throughout the years working for him, Chevys, Dodges, Hyundais, we could use house brand or O'Reilly's, AutoZone, whatever brand brakes, Master Pro, Duralast, whatever. But he always pushed, he always told me, if we have a Toyota or a Lexus in the shop, if I catch you putting the aftermarket brake pads and shoes on those, I will send you home without pay for that day. He was dead serious. There's a reason for that. I now know why. I don't know what it is, but something about Toyota brakes. They are intolerant of cheap pads and cheap shoes and cheap drums and cheap rotors. There's a few times that we had some Sienna vans in and the owner said, watch, I'm going to put these aftermarket pads on the rotors on this thing. We didn't even put 10 miles on it and the things were squealing. Like that terrible noise that just drives you insane. Then he switched it over to OEM Toyota pads. The noise is gone. We did the same process. We've make sure to lube the guide pins, make sure to put the caliper grease and all this pad grease on the back of the pads. We did all the things. It still made that noise. So I stand by that today, and this customer proves it to be true. At some other shop, or either the customer did it themselves, they put a house brand aftermarket brake drums and shoes on this vehicle. And they were immediately unhappy with their decision. The braking performance, the feel, and there were some noises. They were like, this is not right. I don't like this. I'm going to go back to OEM Toyota. I'm going to take it to the car wizard and have him go through, put it back like it's supposed to be. And I don't blame him. It will solve his problem. So if you have a Toyota or a Lexus, go ahead and spend the extra coin and get the OEM brake pads and rotors and drums and shoes and things of that nature, because it really is required on these brand of vehicles.
Well, it's not just the pads and brakes and drums. Anything on a Toyota pretty much needs to be stock. They don't like anything that's aftermarket, Chinesium.
Another thing on Toyotas and Lexuses that will bite you in the butt is trying to cheap out on the mass airflow sensors or oxygen sensors, crank sensors or cam sensors. You put the aftermarket cheap no-name brands or the Amazon stuff. A Toyota will let you know very quickly within probably the first 10 miles of driving. It'll be like, oh hell no bro, we're not doing that. Check engine light right back on. I've seen that many times over the years. The programming inside the computers, they have parameters of what's good and what's bad. If anything falls outside of these parameters, throw on the check engine light. And those parameters on most cars are maybe this wide, but on a Toyota, this much. Very small leeway for error. If the manufacturer didn't get everything dialed in just right, the Toyota computer will know right away, oh, I see you put that cheap part on. Nope, check engine light. I don't know why that is, but it is what it is. Luckily, this customer fully understands that. I don't even have to go through that rigmarole with the customer. Maintenance is very, very important on these vehicles, on any vehicle. For most part, people don't have trouble doing oil changes. There are some that, I mean, they cheap out or they don't do the oil changes. But a lot of people have trouble coughing up the money to do maintenance and repairs. Like this customer's getting a lot done to their vehicle. None of it absolutely had to be done right now, especially the fluids and all the maintenance. The hubs were getting kind of noisy, but they weren't going to fall apart or anything. It was still driving just fine. But there's a lot of things you have to do with maintenance that your vehicle drives just fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And it's still going to cost you money every year. There's coolant flushes like what we're doing here, transmission services, brake pads, rotors, brake fluid flushes, differential services. There's so much to do on any vehicle. You really need to check your owner's manual, and they'll have a chart that shows at 80,000 miles do this, at 100,000 miles do that, at 120,000 do this. You should be following that schedule because it helps make the life of the car that much longer. Everything that I just mentioned are consumable items. The transmission fluid, the coolant, the brake fluid is not meant to last 190 years. It has a lifespan, only so long that it's good for, and then it needs to be changed out. It's a frequent misconception that it drives fine, there's nothing wrong with it, I'm good for another 30 years. You won't be. Typically what happens is people that skip the maintenance is when it finally something does break, they get it to the shop to find out there's a whole lot of things starting to fail because maintenance was skipped, seals are going out, gaskets are failing. And they're like, how did this escalate so quickly? It's because one way or another, your car is going to pull that money out of your wallet, whether you like it or not. If you do it a little bit here and there throughout the year to keep up on the maintenance, it's a lot easier on your wallet. But if you wait 10 years to get it done and it finally piles up, you're still going to pay for it one way or another. The sound he was hearing on this front driver's hub, it was subtle. Junior Mint took it for a road test. He's like, I think I hear something, but I'm not too sure. I took it for a road test. I've been doing this for over 20, 25 years. I was able to dial in. I was like, okay, so that's a tire noise or either a wheel bearing, one of the two. It's just a very subtle. So we got it on the lift. And this is something, again, I learned from my mentor. Get it up in the air, turn off the traction control, put it in four-wheel drive, and get all four wheels going at 60 or 70 miles an hour, floating in the air. Then we take a stethoscope, it has a metal rod, and we go and listen to all the wheel bearings. And this one, we heard the noise. I did check the tires, there's no issue with the tires, so we nailed it. Now the noise he was hearing, again, it was so faint that most people would probably say, you know, it drives fine. I don't have time for that. I really don't want to mess with the cost of that right now. It starts, it runs, it drives. I'm good. But really, you shouldn't be. The customer's like, you know what? Let's get this solved before it breaks and take something else out with it. I really don't want to wait to that point. Let's do it now. The Impala you just watched a video on with the serpentine belt issue was a very subtle noise, but the customer was right in saying, this needs to be solved. I don't want to wait till something else breaks to figure out what it was. Let's get it done now. We're currently working through that one, and this one will be done here pretty soon. But I want to definitely get a video out for you guys to show that there are times when your car can be in the shop, it's going to pull $2,000 out of your wallet, and nothing is really wrong with it. And that's okay. It's fine. In fact, it's actually good because it's going to keep everything in order. I mean, in today's fast-paced society, we've got doctor's appointments, kids to the daycare, we've got all these things going on. We don't have time for breakdowns. And this is how you prevent those breakdowns from happening, or at least minimize their occurrence. So if you're curious what kind of tools that we're going to use to work or are working on this Tacoma or any other car in the shop, check our Amazon affiliate link in the description below. A lot of the tools we use in the shop are for sale there, and if you purchase any of them, we get a small cut and really appreciate it. And we have a full schedule, which means tons more video for you guys. Make sure to hit the subscribe button before you leave. Thanks for watching.